What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this one, we have why Australia might be the most important military power. Before we dive in and figure out what's going on, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let's get right to it.
What if I told you the most strategically important military in the Indo-Pacific isn't China's or even America's? What if the key to the next major global conflict hinges not on superpowers, but on a country with more kangaroos than tanks? Australia. Yeah, the land of
More kangaroos than people.
Vegemite, surfboards, and deadly snakes is now quietly, and some would say cleverly, positioning itself as a global military linchpin. And it's not just because of geography. Let's break down why Australia's military is becoming a game changer, and why global powers are suddenly paying a lot more attention to what's happening down under. First, let's talk location. Because Australia isn't just sitting on a nice beach, it's sitting on a geopolitical gold mine. Look at the map. Australia is the southern anchor of the Indo-Pacific. It's out of direct range of most ballistic missiles from North Korea or China, but close enough to project force into Southeast Asia, the South China Sea, and the Pacific. In military speak, it's strategic depth.
100%.
In layman's terms, it's far enough to be safe, close enough to matter.
I like
That's
that.
why the U.S. rotates Marine.
Dang. I mean, that's perfect position. Far enough to be safe, close enough to matter. I don't think positioning gets more perfect than that.
Through Darwin, and why Allied navies love making pit stops at Australian ports. Australia is a launch pad, a safe house, and a supply depot all rolled into one. Think of it like the Switzerland of the Pacific. If Switzerland had F-35s, nuclear submarine deals, and wasn't so into neutrality. In 2021, Australia swiped right on the US and the UK. The result? AUKUS, a trilateral security pact that sounds like a corporate law firm, but is actually one of the most consequential defense agreements in decades. Under AUKUS, Australia gets access to nuclear-powered submarines. Not nuclear-armed, just powered, but that's still huge. These subs can stay underwater for months, are faster, quieter, and harder to track.
They stay underwater for months? God dang!
They're the stealthy sharks of the ocean, and Australia is going to have them swimming in its waters by the 2030s. And it's not just subs. AUKUS includes joint work on hypersonic weapons, cyber warfare, AI, quantum tech, and more. This is the military equivalent of going from dial-up to fiber optic in one move.
Yeah.
Australia's defense industry is getting plugged into some of the most advanced technologies in the world. Translation? Australia isn't just buying shiny toys. It's joining the elite club designing the next generation of warfare. For years, its military budget was, let's say, modest. It spent enough to keep the lights on, run drills, and occasionally remind everyone it existed. That's changed. In 2024, the government announced its largest defense overhaul since World War II. Over $330 billion will be spent over the next decade. That's not pocket change. That's we're serious.
330 billion. My days, that's definitely not pocket change at all.
Seriously gearing up money. Where's it going? Not just subs. The country is investing in long-range missile systems, expanding its air force, buying more F-35s, upgrading bases, and boosting cyber capabilities. It's like they read a manual titled How to Prepare for the 21st Century Battle Space. And crucially, it's not all imports. The government wants to build a sovereign missile manufacturing industry, meaning Australia won't have to rely on the US or others when things get heated. Independence is the name of the game. Their military doctrine is shifting. The new focus? Denial and deterrence. In plain English, make any potential attacker think, maybe not worth the trouble. They're investing in long-range.
That's the best thing you can do. That deterrence. That's the number one. It seems like thing that all militaries want to have is the ability to deter anybody from attacking.
precision strike capabilities, things like HIMARS systems, Tomahawk missiles, and locally made drones. The goal is to hit threats before they get close, using everything from hypersonic weapons to, yes, annoying buzzing threats, aka drones. And let's not forget the Ghost Bat, the coolest name for a drone program ever. It's the country's first indigenously designed combat drone, meant to fly alongside manned jets and act as a loyal wingman, because nothing says modern Air Force like a robotic flying sidekick. This
That's
all
lit.
adds up to what defense planners call a
That just make you feel a little more safe, right? With that drone flying next to you, you got backup right here.
porcupine strategy. Australia might not be a huge power, but it's aiming to be a spiky one. Get too close, and you're going to get hurt. Here's the part where they really shows its strength. Alliances. Australia has been quietly, methodically deepening its military ties across the Indo-Pacific. Joint exercises with Japan, naval drills with India, intelligence sharing with the US, UK, Canada, and New Zealand through the Five Eyes Alliance. Participation in multinational coalitions in the South China Sea. Even France is patching things up after the whole submarine breakup fiasco. Never ghost a French contractor. They hold grudges. They know it can't outgun China or go it alone. So it's doubling down on partnerships, interoperability, and collective deterrence. It's like forming a neighborhood watch with tanks. This makes Australia not just a player, but a hub. Allies trust it. Regional partners respect it. And potential adversaries have to factor it into their calculus. Let's address
I feel like, I mean, when it comes, of course, their geography is absolutely strategic. They are positioned in a great spot, like you said, far enough to be safe, close enough to matter. And so, for those partnerships, right, to be able to go to Australia and kind of get that information about what's happening there, I feel like that's very vital and important. And I love the porcupine strategy. Hey, we're not trying to be the lion. We're not trying to be king of the jungle that you fear. We're trying to be the porcupine. Yeah, you might not be afraid of us, but you know better than to come too close. Come on now.
giant panda in the room. Actually, wrong animal. It's the dragon. China's rise is the single biggest driver of Australia's defense transformation. Beijing's military buildup, aggressive posturing in the South China Sea, and pressure on Taiwan have set off alarm bells across Canberra. Australia doesn't want war, but it also doesn't want to be caught flat-footed if things go south. So it's making sure that if a conflict erupts, it's ready, not to start the fight, but to make sure it can finish one, or at least survive and help its allies. But here's the nuance. They still trade heavily with China. It's not burning bridges, it's just reinforcing them with steel plates and missile defense systems. This balancing act, economic cooperation with military hedging, is classic pragmatism. Surf in the morning, prep for strategic competition in the afternoon. Here's the thing. Most people don't think of Australia when they think of military power. It doesn't have a massive army. Its population is smaller than Texas, and its defense updates don't usually make splashy headlines. But that's changing. In a world where warfare is more about networks, speed, tech, and alliances than raw numbers, they are punching above its weight. It's becoming a regional anchor, a key node in Western military strategy, and a testing ground for next-gen warfare. The US sees this. China definitely sees this. You should probably see it too. So here's the ironic part. The land known for beaches, barbecues, and bizarre wildlife is now quietly turning into one of the most strategically important military players in the Indo-Pacific. Not because it's the strongest, but because it's smart, it's connected, and it's adapting fast. And maybe that's the future of military power. Not the loudest, not the biggest, but the one that knows how to be in the right place, at the right time, with the right tools. So next time you hear about Australia's defense policy, don't yawn. It might just be the thing shaping the balance of power in the 21st century. And if that doesn't impress you, remember, this is a country where even the birds have learned how to start wildfires. You really want to underestimate that?
Nah, you definitely don't. What birds out here starting wildfires? Though. That's what I need to know. I definitely get where he's coming from on that, and I think Australia strategically, for their military to be on the rise, they could be right that X factor in the world, and so we'll see how Australia's military continues to grow. That's all we have for this. If you guys enjoy, don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, check out the next